For the last couple of weeks, we've opened up the Bible to a particular passage, a message that describes what you and I, as followers of Jesus, ought to be about. It's actually a message that was written to a man named Timothy, who was a leader in a church back in his day. And this is the thing that he was told to say to the people in his church. Timothy, tell them, followers of Jesus, tell them to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others. Tell them their money, followers of Jesus. Tell the followers of Jesus to use their money to do good. Tell the followers of Jesus to be rich in good works. Tell the followers of Jesus to be generous to those in need. Use their money to do good, be rich in good works, be generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others. And so God says, look, bottom line, be ready to share your resources with other people. I mean, you may not feel like you've got a whole lot of resources to share. He doesn't say how much to share. He just says whatever you have, be willing to share with others. Some have more to share than others, but he says, be ready to share it with others. Now, as you read the Bible in its entirety, all of a sudden you begin to realize that God has very keen interest in specific areas of people who have needs. More specifically, one of the areas that God is very interested in is that we share our resources with those who are fatherless. Those without a mom, those without a dad, those without parents. God is very, very specific, and he says, man, we need to share our resources with those without a family. And God is so specific about it. As he talks about it, he says some pretty interesting things. One of the things that God says about himself is that he's actually the protector, the father of all children who are fatherless. God says, look, if you don't have a father, you don't have a mom, you don't have a family, he says, I'll be your family. I'll be your dad. I'll be the father to those that are fatherless. Beyond that, God says, not only will I be the father to the fatherless, he says, every child, all children deserve justice. Every child, he says, deserves justice. And so he says, make sure whatever you're doing, that you're providing justice to those that do not have anybody else to stand up and advocate for them. Psalm chapter 10, verse 14 says it this way. You see, talking to God, you see the trouble and grief that they, the wicked, cause. You take note of it and you punish them, the wicked. The helpless put their trust in you. You defend the orphans. God says, you're right, I do. He says, I'm the father to the fatherless. I will protect, I will provide justice to those who do not experience justice. Now, as soon as we say that, temptation is to say, that sounds good, David, but that's not really been my experience. You say, you look around the world and you see lots and lots of children who are struggling. You say, where is God when those children need justice? You look and you say, how in the world is God bringing justice around the world? How in the world can he be the father to the fatherless? You say, how in the world? I don't see that happening, David. And so that's where you and I come in to the equation. See, God calls us his followers. He calls you and me to actually actively pursue meeting the needs of fatherless children. I mean, it's his heart, it's his desire that children receive care and justice. But you know what? He says to you and me, his followers, he says, we're the hands and feet. We are his hands and feet. We're the ones that carry out his heart's desires. We're the ones that step in and provide justice. We're the ones that step in and provide care for those that don't receive care. A particular passage in the Bible, 1 Corinthians, says it this way, all of you, followers of Jesus, all of you together are Christ's body, and each one of you is a part of that. What that actually means is every single one of us that claim to be a follower of Jesus, every one of us, whatever location, whatever campus we attend, it doesn't matter. He says all of us are part of God's body. All of us are part of Christ's body. Every one of us have a part, a specific part. You have a specific part. You may not feel like you're anything special. You may not feel like you're important because you're a part of my body. You've got a very specific part that I want you to play. And God says, look, you're my hands and feet. He says, one of my desires, one of my passions is taking care of people that cannot take care of themselves. It really, bottom line, it's taking care of people that have needs. And God calls us. He calls us, his people, you and me, to actively pursue meeting the needs of fatherless children. Now, he goes even a step further than that. And he gets real specific about how to care for those needs. And he says it this way. He says, true followers of God will share their resources. Share their resources with the fatherless. Across all of our campuses, about 4,500 children are sponsored around the world. 4,500 kids. That's an amazing number. 4,500 kids whose lives are different because you're choosing to sponsor them. 4,500 kids whose families are different. And you start putting that together, and all of a sudden, these communities around the world are beginning to change. Now, I always like to kind of throw numbers in and figure out, okay, what does that really mean? So I figured, okay, 4,500 kids giving $30 to $40 a month. If you round that off to $35, $40 a month, then all of a sudden we're talking about $2 million a year that LCBC has given out around the world. And I look at that and I go, that's an amazing number. To think that every year, so we're not talking just a one-time deal, but every year $2 million is going out from LCBC to do the very thing that God says, this is what I'm interested in, of caring for people that have needs and making a difference. It's an amazing thing, but it's not about $2 million. It's about one life, one child at a time in each of these communities whose lives are different because we're sponsoring these kids. Now, you might ask, is it working? How do I know? They're all the way over here in Syria. They're all the way over here in Kenya. How do I know that what I'm doing is making a difference? And I think that's a valid question. Is it really worth my $34 to $40 a month? Is it really worth $2 million a year sent around the world to make a difference? And so to answer that question, I actually have a guest with us here this week, and his name is Michael Chitwood. Michael, why don't you come? And Michael is with one of our partner organizations. Michael is with an organization called World Vision. And so why don't you join me in welcoming Michael here with us. So good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Good to be here, brother. You know, church family, I really do believe Maureen can be anything she wants to be. And if she still wants to be a doctor, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, she can do that. But the truth is, if she didn't have access to clean water, she wouldn't be able to go to school. If she didn't have a school to go to, she couldn't pursue the dreams God puts on her heart. If she didn't have access to health care, she might be sick all the time. In fact, she's battled malaria a couple times where World Vision found it and took her to the hospital and made sure she was cared for. Maureen's life is different because of our sponsorship. I know that. And I'll tell you, my life is different. And I know it's pretty ridiculously crazy that I get to go visit my sponsor child, and that most of you, if you sponsor a child, will never meet that child, at least not on this side of heaven. But something that when my dad passed, I heard about, and it's been an awesome thought, is that someday when we get to heaven, we're going to get to meet the people that we had an impact on. I really hope that's true, and I really believe that that'd be awesome if God let us do that, and that someday maybe you will meet your sponsor child, and they're going to get to tell you all about the difference you made in their life, and you can tell them how you prayed for them and how you cared for them a world away. I truly do believe sponsorship can change kids' lives and that it can change your life.